Master Your Mindset Radio, episode 123.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to discover your true self before the world told you differently. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hey friends, I'm back. Hopefully to give you another little nugget of truth, something to encourage you. I get inspired by the people I follow, and one of them is Dr. Caroline Leaf. If you don't know who she is, if you haven't followed her, if you haven't read her books, I encourage that you do that, especially if you're interested in how the brain works. She talks a lot about that, and it's great information. And you know, the central part of what I write about and talk about has to do with thoughts, limiting beliefs, but thoughts are things. So I saw a reel from her recently that was a great great imagery of what a thought is. It keeps coming back to us. And she was talking about reconceptualizing thoughts. So we're going to talk about that today, how to reconceptualize a thought. So in this video, she had a beach ball and she was trying to push it underwater. And the beach ball represented a thought, a recurring thought. Let's say it's negative, because those are the ones we struggle with, right? The recurring negative limiting thought, limiting belief. And what do you do with it? You have to do something with it. Thoughts are things, they're real. So you have to deal with your thoughts somehow, because they have energy and the ability to take up space and to change your brain chemically and to change your body and to change your reactions and to change everything. So they're real. We have to deal with our thoughts. So she kept pushing the beach ball under the bath water, kept pushing it under, it pops back up. You're trying to push down a negative thought, a limiting belief, it pops back up. You may hold it underwater for a while, but it comes back up. There really is no way to just submerge a limiting belief or a negative toxic thought and hope it stays submerged, because thoughts are things. They're real and they're not going to stay underwater. They come right back up. So what do you have to do instead? You have to reconceptualize that thought. You have to do something to change it. You can't just let it be as it is and think that you can bury it. Doesn't work. Always comes back up, always shows itself in your life. So how do you reconceptualize a thought? The first thing you have to do is recognize that you have it and bring it close to you. You have to bring it close to you. You have to identify it. It's real. It's a thing. You have to say, I know I'm having this thought, and you need to pull it into your consciousness. You know, we talk about all the time the definition of mindset, the subconscious, the conscious realm, and how your deeply held beliefs in your subconscious then come up into your thinking realm and affect what's going on in your conscious life. And so we have to bring those limiting beliefs into the conscious realm. We have to bring them close. We have to look at them, identify them, and recognize that they are real. And that is the first step, is to admit where you are. So reconceptualizing something means you have to identify it first. And I'm not going to go through all the steps that I go through in the book right now about changing your limiting beliefs, but this is just really some quick tips on the way we deal with our negative thoughts. The wrong approach is to think you can just submerge it. The wrong approach is to think that you can just avoid it, ignore it, push it down, and think that it won't come back up. Because basically that thing is alive. And I heard somebody say once, if you bury something that's alive, that's a pretty nasty concept if you think about it. That thing is coming back up. We don't want to bury things that are alive. We want to bury dead things. So that thought is alive and it's coming back up. And how does it come back up? It's going to affect your decisions, affect your life, affect your relationship. So instead, bring that thought close. Look at it, understand it, tell yourself the truth, recognize what you're thinking, be willing to admit the truth about where you are and what that thought is, and then decide how you want to change it, how you want to react to it. Where did that thought come from? It came from something that happened to you, and you chose a reaction which created a thought, which that thought now is recurring in your life. So 90% of what happens to you in this world is your reaction to things. It's not actually the thing, it's your reaction. So that thought came from, that limiting belief came from a choice that you made. So where did it come from? Pull it close, recognize it, realize what it is, and decide you're going to reconceptualize it. Is it true? Is it actually true? Could it be false? What if you changed it? What if it weren't true? What if you altered that thought? What if you chose to believe something else? There are so many things we can do with a thought, but instead we have a tendency to believe that because it's there, it must be real and that we can't control it. And we allow those thoughts to just pop back up in our lives and cause damage wherever and whenever they want. And this is what we have to work on. So there's more than that. And if you've listened to my podcast, you know I give you a lot of other tools. The book gives you tools on what to do with these limiting beliefs. But the wrong thing to do, and I want you to think about that bathtub with that beach ball, is to push it underwater because it's coming right back up. Pull it close. Recognize what it is, decide you're going to reconceptualize it, which means you're going to tell the truth about what you're thinking, understand where it came from to the best of your ability, and decide, no, I'm going to think about this differently. And if I do that, if I rewrite that thought, how does that change my life? Because right now, that thought is not serving you, especially if you're trying to bury it. It's definitely not serving you. So instead, decide that you're going to rewrite it. You're going to change it. You're going to think differently. And I can tell you that once you practice that, and you can use any of the tools I've given you before, the thought ladder, so many other things, but once you practice that, you start to change your brain chemistry. And that thought, that negative thought that you've been thinking over and over again, that has made ridges in your brain, no longer is welcome and gets replaced with the more positive, life-affirming thought. And as you continue to do that, you continue to banish the negative thoughts. You change your brain chemistry. You end up changing your physiological responses to what you're thinking. You change your health. It's all connected. So reconceptualize your thoughts. Think of them as those beach balls that will not stay submerged. Don't lie to yourself anymore. Those negative thoughts, those negative reactions, you are the only one that can change them. So pull them close, look at them carefully, and you decide. It's all about choice. You decide how you want to change them. But don't wait, because they're not going away and they're just causing more and more damage to your life. Hope that helps someone today. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, please visit elizabethnader.com to learn more about the Mindset Maven and how she is guiding high performers to map their mindset to their message so they can effectively express who they are and why their ideas should win. Looking forward to seeing you online.